Hello, how are you? It's winter here, so I'm wrapped up, sitting on the sofa. I just had a hot drink. And you might want to get a hot drink because this is gonna be a long video, okay? This is worthy of a long one. So, trauma aware versus trauma informed yoga. And I'm going to talk about trauma, okay? So if you're triggered, make sure you do your self-care. Make sure that this video might not be for you at this point in time. It might be later. So be honest here with yourself. Yeah, practicing satya towards yourself, honesty. Yeah, and ahimsa, kindness, comes in as well. Yeah, important. Okay, so before I'm going into the trauma-informed and trauma-aware, it's important to understand trauma, obviously. So I'm going to read you snippets from a book called The Body Keeps Score. It's written by Bessel from the Kolk, who's a psychiatrist, and he's this is massive book, okay? If you can get your hands on a copy, do it, because in reality we've all had traumatic experiences in our lives. Very few people who haven't, but if you think about childbirth, yeah, that's quite an experience as a small human being. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna read you a few snippets. Get a cuppa. Yeah, pause this video now, get a cuppa because it's a long one. Because it's worthy of it, yeah? Ready? Right. 3 levels of safety. After trauma, the world is experienced with a different nervous system that has an altered perception of risk and safety. Porges, I don't know how to pronounce some words, hey, so be kind to me. Porges, he's a psychologist, yeah? He coined the word neuroception to describe the capacity to evaluate relative danger and safety in one's environment. When we try to help people with faulty neuroception, the great challenge is finding ways to reset their physiology so that their survival mechanisms stop working against them. This means helping them to respond appropriately to danger, but even more to recover the capacity to experience safety, relaxation, and true reciprocity. And then we'll go to in the previous chapter. So he said he's writing about his case studies. Yeah. In previous chapter, we saw radically different reactions as they relived the highway disaster they experienced side by side. What accounts for the spectrum of response? Focus, collapsed, or frantic? Porges' theory provides an explanation. The autonomic nervous system regulates 3 fundamental physiological states. 3. The level of safety determines which one of these is activated at any particular time. Whenever we feel threatened, we instinctively turn to the first level, social engagement. We call out for help, support, and comfort from the people around us. But if no one comes to our aid or we're in immediate danger, the organism reverts to a more primitive way to survive, fight or flight. Yeah, sympathetic nervous system. However, if this fails, if we can't get away, the organism tries to preserve itself by shutting down and expending as little energy as possible. We are then in a state of freeze or collapse. This is where the many-branched vagus nerve comes in, and I'll describe its anatomy briefly because it's central to understanding how people deal with trauma. Vagus nerves, talking about a lot in yoga, yeah? The social engagement system depends on nerves that have their origin in the brain stem regulatory centers, primarily the vagus, also known as the 10th cranial nerve, together with adjoining nerves that activate the muscles of the face, throat, middle ear, and voice box or larynx. When the ventral vagal complex, VVC, runs the show, we smile when others smile at us, we nod our heads when we agree, we frown when friends tell us of their misfortunes. When VVC is engaged, it also sends signals down to our heart and lungs, slowing down our heart rate and increasing the depth of breathing. As a result, we feel calm and relaxed, centered, or pleasurably aroused. The many-branched vagus. The vagus nerve registers heartbreak and gut-wrenching feelings. When a person becomes upset, the throat gets dry, the voice becomes tense, the heart speeds up, respiration becomes rapid and shallow. 3 responses. So we have the social engagement, shouting for help, the fight or flight, and collapse. Any threat to our safety or social connections triggers changes in the areas innervated by the VVC. When something distressing happens, we automatically signal our upset. Facial expressions, tones of voice, changes meant to beckon others to come to our assistance. However, if no one responds, the threat increases and the older limbic brain jumps in. Sympathetic nervous system takes over, mobilizing muscles, heart, lungs for fight and flight. Our voice becomes fast, our heart starts pumping faster. Finally, if there's no way out and there is nothing we can do to stave off the inevitable, we will activate the ultimate emergency system, the dorsal vagal complex. This system reaches down below the diaphragm to the stomach, kidneys, intestines, and drastically reduces metabolism throughout the body. Heart rate plunges, we can't breathe, and our gut stops working or empties. This is the point at which we disengage, collapse, and freeze. Being in tune with other members of our species via the VVC is enormously rewarding. What begins as a tuned play of mother and child continues with the rhythmicity of a good basketball game, synchronity of tango dancing, and the harmony of choral singing or playing a piece of jazz or chamber music, all of which foster a deep sense of pleasure and connection. We can speak of trauma when that system fails, when you beg for your life but the assailant ignores your pleas, when you are terrified, when you feel helpless, you can't do anything to help someone else or yourself. You can't get away, you're trapped, or you're immobilized, Immobilization is at the root of most traumas. When that occurs, the DVC is likely to take over. Your heart slows down, your breathing becomes shallow, you lose touch with yourself and your surroundings, you disassociate, faint, or collapse. So then he talks a bit about their approaches when he was doing his case studies. So here he writes, we were more open to the value of other age-old non-pharmacological approaches to health that have been long practiced outside Western medicine, ranging from breath exercises, pranayama, chanting, to martial arts like I can't pronounce that, Qigong, to drumming and group singing and dancing. All rely on interpersonal rhythms, physical awareness, and vocal and facial communication, which helps shift people out of fight or flight state, recognizing danger and increase their capacity to manage relationships. To feel present. It's important to feel present. You have to know where you are and be aware of what's going on with you. If the self-sensing system breaks down, we need to find ways to reactivate it. Knowing what we feel is the first step to knowing why we feel that way. If we are aware of the constant changes in our inner and outer environment, we can mobilize to manage them. But we can't do this unless our watchtower learns to observe what's going on inside us. This is why mindful practice, which strengthens that internal watchtower, is a cornerstone of recovery of trauma. If you have a comfortable connection with your inner sensations, if you can trust them to give you accurate information, you will feel in charge of your body, feelings, yourself. However, traumatized people chronically feel unsafe inside their bodies. Past is alive in the form of gnawing interior discomfort. Their bodies are constantly bombarded by physical warning signs. And in an attempt to control these processes, they often become expert at ignoring their gut feelings and in numbing awareness of what is played out inside. They learn to hide from themselves. Suppressing our inner cries for help does not stop our stress hormones from mobilizing the body. Yeah. Somatic symptoms for which no clear physical basis can be found are ubiquitous in traumatized children and adults. They can include chronic back and neck pain, fibromyalgia, migraines, digestive problems, spastic colon, IBS, chronic fatigue, and some forms of asthma. Studies have shown that many children and adults with fatal asthma attacks were not aware of having breathing problems before the attacks. Yeah. Trauma victims cannot recover until they become familiar with and befriend the sensations in their bodies. Being frightened means that you live in a body that's always on guard. Angry people live in angry bodies. Bodies of child abuse victims are tense, defensive until they find a way to relax and feel safe. In order to change, people need to become aware of their sensations and the way that their body interacts with the world around them. Physical self-awareness is the first step in releasing the tyranny of the past. Okay. All too often, however, drugs are prescribed instead of teaching people the skills to deal with such distressing physical reactions. Of course, medications only blunt sensations and do nothing to resolve them or transform them from toxic agents into allies. The most natural way for human beings to calm themselves when they are upset is by clinging to another person. This means that patients who have been physically or sexually violated face a dilemma. They desperately crave touch while simultaneously being terrified of body contact. The mind needs to be re-educated to feel physical sensations, and the body needs to be helped to tolerate and enjoy the comfort of touch. Yeah, that you have that safety again. Individuals who lack emotional awareness are able with practice to connect the physical sensations to psychological events. Then they can slowly reconnect with themselves. There you have it. Lots of information in there. Now yoga. Yoga practices asana, yeah, the posture, your movement, your breath work, pranayama. He mentioned that in his book a little bit, yeah. So understanding how the breath works, learning what happens, learning different methods for different purposes, for slowing down, for calming down, to get more energy, to release even anger or frustration. Learning how to use your body, how to use your breath, your lungs, your diaphragm, how to move them to help you. Learning how the breath will help you to be present. Big things, yeah. Relaxation. As a yoga teacher, to ask someone to lie down in Shavasana and close their eyes might be not big for some people, But if you are carrying trauma, if you've been traumatized, safety is key here. If you do not feel safe in a space or don't feel safe with the teacher, you're not going to be able to relax. You're not going to be comfortable doing that. Yeah, it's big. Yoga Nidra. Let's talk about that. Yoga Nidra, we're doing body rotation, feeling into the sun, index finger, middle finger, all the body parts. Yeah, getting that sense, asking you to sense those body parts, connecting to the body. Asking you to feel certain things, feeling hot, feeling cold, inviting those feelings into the body, pain and pleasure, and then going into feelings, joy and happiness, or anxiety, feeling scared, feeling safe. Big things to work in Yoga Nidra. And a lot of people don't realize how much of an impact that can have. Yeah, we're working with our subconscious here. Yoga Nidra, big practice that can help you or is not for you at this moment because you have other things to deal with first. Linking it to trauma aware. Being trauma aware as a yoga teacher, in my opinion, if you are a yoga teacher, you should be trauma aware. It should have been part of your training. Yeah, yoga meaning oneness, understanding that the body, mind, spirit are all connected. It's one. We're not those separate things. We're one. Understanding that connection, vital as yoga teachers. Understanding that people react differently to certain practices. That some things might be triggering for someone, and understanding how to support that person. Allowing them to do what they need, respectfully with other people in mind, if they are there, obviously. To give them what they need. Some people in the middle of a practice might need to just walk out and leave, because it's becoming too much for them. We need to let that happen for them and leave them to it. We need to understand and give that space, checking in later with them, sending them a wee message. Hey, how are you okay? I am here for you if you need. Reaching out. Offering that support. Yoga teachers are in service of you. Yeah? In service of you. Especially, people who are trained in Yoga Nidra. We talk about trauma, because if you think about asking someone to feel anxious, who's already having that anxiety in them, and then asking them to feel safe, has effects. Understanding that is a big part. Okay? So every yoga teacher, in my opinion, should be trauma aware. Yeah? Giving people the space, understanding how to create a space where people feel comfortable and safe to let go and do that practice. Okay. Trauma-informed, people who specialized. They've dived deep within the trauma aspect. They understand the different signs. When we experience trauma, a traumatic event, and we responded in some way, yeah? Remember the 3 responses. We responded in some ways. So that's recognizable to us, but there are others that might not be so recognizable. Trauma-informed, studied, understand the different signs, understand the ones they don't really resonate with, they've not experienced. Understanding how it impacts the body, fight and flight, the vagus nerve, the connection of the body and the brain, all that stuff. Understanding how to support traumatized people with certain practices. Creating practices especially for people who are carrying trauma within themselves so they can heal. Yeah, specialized. Studied it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about you. This might not be fun to hear. So, take a breath in and a breath out. Everyone has responsibility towards themselves. Every single person. If you recognize that something is really difficult for you, that you're shutting down with certain things, the person responsible towards their healing journey is you. Or your suppressing journey is you. You can choose. You have a choice. You have a choice. Deal with it. Process. Heal. Face what's happened. Reaching out for support to people who have the experience and knowledge to fully assist you. Or maybe you're not ready for that. And acknowledging that and knowing that is also good. You know, we heal in our own times. We heal in our own times. So take that. Understand that and be honest with yourself. Yeah, again, satya, the truthfulness within yourself. Ahimsa, non-violence towards yourself. Be kind to yourself. Yoga teachers don't have the responsibility to fix things for you. We help, we assist, we care, we provide the service for you. If you are being honest, it's your responsibility to tell us. If you're attending a yoga class and you're starting to feel a certain way, without having let your teacher know that something is that you're dealing with stuff at the moment, for us as well, it can be really worrying and really sad when someone goes out of the room because we don't know what's going on. This is where the training that we have comes in as well, to let people, to not judge. Yeah, big thing within yoga. Don't judge. But we're still human beings. We worry because we care about you. Yeah? Yoga is about healing, about sharing the knowledge with you so you can grow your spiritual journey on this planet. We care. So if you know you are dealing with stuff and you know that maybe something will come up, talk to your teacher. And you don't have to go into details. You can just say, look, I'm having a little bit of an off day, so I am here. I'm going to try it, but I might need to leave. Or I might need to just lie in a pose. And some teachers, I say that a lot, never strain, never be in pain. That's not just for poses, it's whatever comes up in your mind as well. If anything that I'm saying is not feeling good for you right now, it doesn't resonate with you, it brings up stuff, you have the breath to go back to. Take another pose. Sit, lie in Shavasana, sit in child's pose, breathe. You can do that in my class, it's fine. If you're in a pose really long, I might come over and check. Hey, are you okay? That's all. When we're open towards each other, magic can happen. If we're not open, if I don't know really what's going on with someone, what someone is looking for in a class, I cannot provide you with the best service I can give you. Same for, you know, trauma-informed teachers. We all have responsibilities towards each other and towards ourselves. So take that in for a moment. Sit with that. Honor that. Certain breathing exercises might be super helpful for certain people, calming down. If someone really wants to work and process and bring stuff up so they can face it and that they have that strength, a breathing practice that's really intense, that brings up emotions, that brings up heat, bhastrika, is an amazing practice. But for someone who's not quite there yet, might be the worst thing ever. Yoga Nidra, we use stories, we do a visualization. Certain things might be really triggering for someone, so we'll stay away from that. Other things are things that people actually want to face, so we bring it in and then we provide that space and care after to make sure you're okay, or you're processing and you need some time to sit. The best thing I can tell you is find your teacher, find the people who you resonate with. Find people maybe who are a little bit challenging, tiny bit, because challenges makes us face things. But then if that doesn't feel right for you at that moment, honor yourself. Honor yourself, because that's where it starts. Maybe you don't need yoga, maybe you need dance, maybe you need somatic therapy, maybe you need tapping, maybe you need I can't remember what it's called, but it's like shaking and moving and TRE, can't remember, something like that. Find your thing, find what heals you, but what you hold in the body, you hold in the mind, and vice versa. Work with that. If you have stuff to deal with, find someone who's able to support you fully in that. We all carry trauma. We've all carried it. We've all experienced traumatic events, but we've responded differently. Remember the 3 responses. Some people can let it go and release, and it's in the past, it's what happened, and we move on, and it's fine, it's okay. Other people, no, it's in here, firing those hormones, the stress hormones off. And then we suppress, maybe. I've been there. It's why I'm trained in Yoga Nidra. It healed me massively. Pranayama, mantra. Those are my things. Asana is great. I love asana. But there's a bigger love for mantras and Yoga Nidras, pranayamas for me. That's my personal experience. Lot of stuff there to take in. There's a difference between trauma-aware versus trauma-informed. In my humble opinion, every yoga teacher should be at least trauma-aware. At least. 3 responses. VVC, ventral vagal complex. CNS, your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. And DVC, it's more the reptile brain, I think they call it. The reptile response, pretending to be dead. Those reptiles, that part of the brain. DVC, dorsal vagal complex, disassociation. When we lose ourselves, when we lose part of ourselves. I've been there. Getting to know yourself is challenging. I can say it's definitely worth it. It's tremendous. It's beautiful and magical, and it's challenging. So find, again, I can't stress this enough, find the people who resonate with you. Find the teachers you enjoy working with. And if you want to focus on a specific thing, ask them. One-to-ones are so powerful for those reasons. Yeah? Find your way, whether you're ready for it right now, or if you need to wait, honor yourself, honor your own being. So I think I've rambled enough. That's 30 minutes. One more thing, if you're around Edinburgh in Scotland, so I'm in Fife, I consider myself trauma aware. Yeah. I've had a lot of traumatic events in my life, so I have that empathy. Now, trauma informed, that step further, that specialized step, that's a beautiful teacher in Edinburgh called Cori. She is, you can reach her through COA Edinburgh. I'll leave a link for you in the description if you're curious or if you want to reach out to her. She's doing a lot of video stuff on Instagram and Facebook right now. So give her a follow there. She's amazing. And she can point you into better directions than I can. Yeah. So if you need a little bit more, she's there for you. I am here for you. You can always ask. If you never ask, you never get answers. If you ask, we're happy to help. We're of service. Yeah, we're servicing you. Well, that sounds a bit weird. It sounds like MOT. We're offering our service to you. We care. We want you to live your life to the fullest. And we want to help you get there. We want to help you with your spiritual journey and be there to support you and assist. Take advantage of that. Yeah? After a yoga class, if a teacher offers space for questions or just sits there, we sit there for a reason, so people can come and have a chat if they want. If they want. Yeah? They still need to take that step. We're not mind readers. Yeah? So we offer that space. Take it. Take that opportunity if you need it and if you want it. And needing and wanting, one more little thing. Needing and wanting is not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So again, satya, truthfulness, practice that with yourself, be honest with yourself. And it can be scary, especially if you don't necessarily trust yourself anymore. I get that. But starting a process, little steps. And maybe think about what you need and what you want. Yeah? I will stop now. I wish you a lovely, lovely rest of your day and lots of goodness coming your way. And like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know. Please just ask. If you have any comments, I might respond, I might not. I'm very picky where I spend my energy, okay? So just a heads up for that. Kindness and respectful comments are always appreciated, obviously. Honesty, kindness, and respect. Okay? Have a lovely day, and I hope to hear from you soon, on or off the mat. Hari Om Tat.